Section 2, Doing Action Research.
This section guides you through the more practical aspects of action research, detailing the necessary support structures, iterative cycles, and key data collection methods.
What is the focus of action research in TESOL? Action research has focused on various aspects in TESOL, including helping an individual learner, improving and enriching curriculum, developing content knowledge, improving or experimenting with teaching strategies and techniques, exploring the relationship between beliefs and classroom practice, exploring the intersection of personal and professional identities, advocating social justice, understanding the teaching and learning context. What is the framework for action research? The framework for action research includes both process and support structures. The process involves several stages from planning to reflecting.
Scholars suggest that to conduct action research, teachers need certain support conditions, including
institutional support and recognition, access to mentoring, advice, and resources, opportunities for collaboration, peer discussion, and presentation, time allocated for research within teaching duties, flexibility in timeframes and processes,
voluntary participation and freedom to choose relevant research areas, use of technology and social media for ongoing contact. The goal should be to empower teachers to develop agency, autonomy, and identity as researchers while integrating research into their teaching practice.
What are the stages of action research?
Similar to other types of research, the research component of action research includes systematic collection of data about the progress or applicability of the actions, analyzing what they reveal, reflecting on the implications, and developing alternative plans or actions. Table 1 summarizes the focuses, purposes, and outcomes of action research. To better understand the function of the table, consider the case of a college teacher who notices her students struggle with spelling. She shares her concern with colleagues and learns that their students have similar problems. She proposes an action research project to investigate and address the issue in the college with the support of several other teachers. Their proposal is accepted, and they receive funding to carry out the research. Their findings result in evaluation of the curriculum and the introduction of new material to improve spelling for all students.
This is an example of institutional action research.
As shown in Table 1, the wider the focus and purpose of action research become, the greater the support needed and the broader the outcomes. Therefore, teachers need to choose the focus by considering the type of support their institutions provide and the outcomes they seek. To carry out action research, we need to adopt a model. The most cited model was proposed by Kemmis and McTaggart, 1988, consisting of 4 moments.
Planning. This refers to identifying a classroom issue or question worth investigating. Acting. It is implementing a strategy, intervention, or change. Observing. It means systematically collecting and analyzing evidence of the effects. Reflecting. This refers to evaluating outcomes and deciding on adjustments.
Burns highlights that this cycle may repeat multiple times and may be messier than it appears because this model is improvement-oriented, so the focus and purpose of action research may change in the process. How to collect data for action research. Different kinds of data collection can be used in action research. While qualitative methods remain central in data collection, action research can benefit from quantitative methodological approaches in triangulation, which is using multiple methods of data collection. Burns categorizes the methods as observational and non-observational in Table 2. Observational. Brief notes or recorded comments made by the teacher while the class is in progress. Audio or video recordings of classroom interaction. Observation by self or colleague on particular aspects of classroom action. Transcripts of classroom interactions between teacher and students or students and students. Maps, layouts, or sociograms of the classroom that trace the interactions between students and teacher. Photographs of the physical context. Non-observational. Questionnaires and surveys. Interviews. Class discussions or focus groups. Diaries, journals, and logs kept by teacher or learners. Classroom documents, such as materials used, samples of student writing, or tests. What are the ethical considerations in action research? Unlike the research-practice dichotomy and the role of theory in action research, not enough attention has been given to creating a mutually accepted ethical framework. While different personal and cultural factors exist, adherence to guidelines of the Ethics Committee or the Institutional Review Board, IRB, such as the UREBC at Dhofar University, is mandatory. Many general ethical principles apply to action research, including informed consent and voluntary participation. Participants should be free to join without coercion, and researchers must explain the study's purpose, methods, risks, and benefits in clear language before anyone agrees to take part. Privacy, confidentiality, and data security. Personal identifiers, recordings, and interview notes must be anonymous. Data must be stored and accessible only by authorized personnel. Also, the data cannot be shared or used for other projects without the participants' informed consent. Right to withdraw. Participants should be able to stop at any moment without penalty. The withdrawal process must be communicated before the research process begins. Minimizing harm and balancing risks and benefits. The research design should anticipate physical, emotional, or academic harms and ensure that the benefits outweigh risks, especially for vulnerable groups. Power dynamics. Teachers, researchers, or practitioner researchers often hold power over positions. They must protect participants from exploitation and keep their scholarly role transparent. Equity, cultural sensitivity, and voice. Recruitment and procedures should be inclusive and respect cultural norms. Davison and colleagues proposed additional ethical principles for integrated action research, IAR, such as the Researcher Organization Agreement and the need for the project to be grounded in relevant theory.